to draw on a Richard Tees paper that I know many of you have read, which was in the Griffith Review in 2006. And he makes the point that equity, and when we're thinking about equity in education, we shouldn't just focus on schools like the Priority Schools program schools, but rather we need to look at the whole system and the relationship between those schools and the whole system, and policies across the whole system, and how do they augment, operate in conflict with, or complement those in the equity programs. He says the health of the whole system is reflected in the performance of the poorest schools. Equity and social justice are not only the concern of the DSP, priority schools, national partnership, low SES schools. Richard Tees makes this point as well. This first illusion that we have to give up is that disadvantaged schools do not contribute to the success of the rest of the system. They absolutely do. And the health of the rest of the system is measured, in my view, and in his view, by how well and what the levels of support are to ensure disadvantaged schools can do well. He says they contribute because they deal with some of the students in the most demanding circumstances. They surrender teacher resources. How does staffing work? Into certain schools in rural areas, in poor communities, then as the career moves on out of those. And in relation to some policies which are applied universally across the system, that benefits some communities over others. So disadvantaged schools cannot be the only focus of equity programs, and we need to keep that very, very much in mind. In relation to that, I think the Gonski Review, the current review of funding for schooling, is very, very important. And in the interim report, the review's emerging issues paper, they outlined their explicit values, and they quoted this, and I think there's some hope in this for me at least. Differences in educational outcomes should not be a result of differences in wealth, income, power, or possessions. And I think we'd all say, hear, hear to that. The basis of funding should take account of background differences, which there's a plethora of research to show has an impact on the opportunities, the learning of young people and their outcomes.